One Zambia, One Nation. Good evening. Welcome to the main news on TV1. My name is Chilufya Mwelwa, alongside my sign language interpreter this evening, Pastor Johannes Getano. Our headlines in the news this hour. The latest Financial Intelligence Center report reveals that some casinos do not hold bank accounts in Zambia. Finance Minister Margaret Mwanakatwe advises the Zambia Revenue Authority to hold regular consultative meetings with clearing agents. About 150 houses in Kitwe's Chachacha Township are on the verge of collapsing. And in sports news, the Zambia national football team is trailing Malawi in the quarter-final of the 2019 COSAFA tournament underway in South Africa. Right now, details in our news this hour. The latest Financial Intelligence Center report has revealed that some casinos do not hold bank accounts in Zambia. The report, however, notes that persons, especially from foreign jurisdictions, working for these casinos had bank accounts in Zambia that received large cash deposits, which were followed by large outward transferred, mostly to their home jurisdictions. The 2018 Financial Intelligence Center report further indicates that some casinos are using employees and shareholders as cash couriers. The center says some of these casinos are not compliant with the local law requirements prescribed by the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, or the licensing committee under the Ministry of Tourism and Arts. Meanwhile, the center has noticed a trend where some individuals in 2018 were involved in environmental crimes. The center, in its report, says it has continued to see timber sales in regions where endangered rosewood, commonly known as mukula, is being traded. According to the 2018 report, the center received suspicious transaction reports related to timber valued at over 2 million kwacha, with many of the individuals in the illegal trade of mukula establishing other businesses through which the proceeds were laundered. The report says the areas most affected were Manyinga and Mufumbwe districts in northwestern province. The Financial Intelligence Center further notes that foreign nationals continue to engage locals to illegally harvest the endangered tree for subsequent transportation out of the country, mostly to Asia. Now, Finance Minister Margaret Mwanakatwe has advised the Zambia Revenue Authority to hold regular consultative meetings with clearing agents in a bid to address bottlenecks to revenue collection. Mrs. Mwanakatwe says government does not want to lose revenue through smuggling or under-declarations. She said this when she held a meeting with clearing agents in Nakonde. Joshua Jere reports.
Finance Minister Margaret Mwanakatwe has in the last 4 days been on a tour of Luapula, Northern and Muchinga provinces to market the proposed sales tax, which comes into effect on July 1, 2019. She held consultative meetings in Mansa, Kasama, Mbala and the border town of Nakonde. She also toured the border facility at Nakonde. But in Nakonde, where customs clearing is the bread and butter of the town, a unique meeting was held with clearing agents. They raised a number of issues, among them high taxes slapped on imported second-hand cars.
You pay duty according to what you have spent. A total of this landing cost to land here, maybe for this lady to land 18,000, but we are paying 26. A container for tiles, you give me $3 per box. Here in Zambia as a standard. I declare it according to where Nakonde wants it. Then Kapiri uplifts it to say, no, we are going to go with this.
Finance Minister Margaret Mwanakatwe noted the need for dialogue between ZRA and the clearing agents.
Ultimately, revenue is what you want and is what we want. We also have to ensure that sales tax works. And that's why I want to thank you yet again for overwhelmingly supporting sales tax.
The finance minister has the Eastern Province scheduled for the next round of consultative meetings to market sales tax. Joshua Jere, ZNBC News, Nakonde.
Government says there will be no shortage of medical supplies in the country amidst proposed austerity measures. Health Minister Chitalu Chilufya says the health sector will continue running without interference because President Edgar Lungu wants a healthy and productive citizenry. Speaking when he paid a courtesy call on Chieftainess Mungule in Katuba, Dr. Chilufya said austerity measures are meant to revive the economy and not to disadvantage the lives of Zambians. Here's a report.
He was in Katuba to fulfill the request made by Chieftainess Mungule to President Edgar Lungu on Wednesday last week. The chieftainess asked the head of state for an ambulance and the expansion of Mungule Clinic. Paying a courtesy call on Her Royal Highness, Dr. Chilufya said Mungule Chiefdom will not be left behind under the universal health coverage agenda.
The public should not be swayed by politicians who lack prudence and dignity in their political discourse. Even in the wider context of fiscal consolidation, government will continue providing health services to the people of this country. We will continue expanding access to health services and will continue buying drugs and will not be distracted by doomsayer politicians who are hell-bent on making political capital out of every situation. And health is bipartisan, and every patriotic Zambian should know that a healthy Zambia will be productive.
And speaking through a spokesperson, Chieftainess Mungule said her chiefdom has resolved to work with the government of the day in bringing development in the area.
We accept you to work hand in hand with you, with your people, including party members.
And after the church service at St. Peter's Catholic Church, Dr. Chilufya handed over the ambulance to Mungule Health Center.
His Excellency President Edgar Lungu believes that the people of this country deserve to be healthy, and the people of this country will only contribute to the growth of our economy if they are in a healthy state.
Patrick Mulenga, ZNBC News, Katuba.
Democratic Republic of Congo DRC President Felix Tshisekedi is this month expected to visit Zambia. President Edgar Lungu has confirmed the development in an interview with Zanis in Kinshasa, the capital of the DRC. President Lungu was in the DRC attending the official funeral ceremony of the former Prime Minister of that country, Etienne Tshisekedi. Here's a report.
Zambia's invitation here brings memories of historic and economic relations existing between the two countries. This is evident of the importance the Democratic Republic of the Congo attaches to Zambia as its finance minister, Ariav, welcomes President Edgar Lungu at Ndili International Airport in Kinshasa. The peaceful transition of power of former President Joseph Kabila to the current Felix Tshisekedi, as witnessed early this year in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, is a milestone recorded here.
The run-up to elections, and thank God things went well. The post-election situation seems to be promising, and I believe that the Congolese people will continue that peaceful trajectory as they entrench democracy in their country.
In this regard, as current chairperson of the SADC organ on politics, defense and security, President Lungu's role is boosted as peace is a platform that calls for more economic development and growth in the region. The head of state warm welcome in the DRC, spiced with traditional dances, reflects the common identity the two countries share. And while here, President Lungu held private talks with his counterpart, DRC President Felix Tshisekedi, and Congo-Brazzaville's Denis Sassou Nguesso. President Lungu is optimistic that there is light at the end of the tunnel, which will result in the much-needed economic growth for the two countries.
Going further, we want to integrate our relationship between Zambia, Angola, and Congo DR because of the vastness of the territory and the common boundary we share. Angola should have an excess of 2,000 kilometers of boundary, and Zambia is 1,900 plus, 930 if I'm not mistaken. But when you look at this landscape in which our people, various tribes and culture live, we share tribes, we share culture and everything, it's good for us to work together, to integrate our economies and ensure that there is peace, and also see to it that good governance gets entrenched.
For Zanis in Kinshasa, the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
ZESCO national spokesperson Henry Kapata has urged the public to give the power utility firm maximum support if the load management hours are to reduce from the current 4 hours. Mr. Kapata said in Livingston that there is a lot of misuse of electricity by the public, with some people leaving appliances on even when they are not using them. Here's a report.
The impact of the ZESCO load management that came into effect on June 1 is already being felt by many. However, such a move is necessary because of the reduced water levels, as ZESCO national spokesperson Henry Kapata now explains.
Well, basically, as you can see, we've been talking about the water levels as it stands now. That has ignited us to do a bit of load management for hourly basis, on daily basis actually. So the current situation here at the Vic Falls, you can see that the water levels are currently standing at 882.6 above sea level. Last year at the same time we were at 883.7 meters of water above sea level. And so when we talk about Lake Kariba, currently we are standing at 479.93 meters of water above sea level, signifying about 31.2%.
Mr. Kapata is calling on the public to support the power utility by saving energy.
And we want the partnership from the members of the public that even the 4 hours that we've been talking about, if we are able to move together with our customers in the name of switch and save, we shouldn't be able to clock about 4 hours if they give us the greatest partnership that we can ever talk about.
Meanwhile, there has been an influx of baboons at the Victoria Falls power station.
So the measures we've put in place are much more friendly, not to kill the animals, but of course to just stop them from interfering with our installations and to stop them from patronizing our installations, like what happened last time when we had 4 provinces cut off as a result of the baboons that tampered with our installations.
The message is clear: switch off unused appliances at any time and see reduced hours of load management. Mombeha Mobola, ZNBC News in Livingston.
And an Indian company, Agrawal, plans to build a 100 megawatt capacity solar panel manufacturing facility in Zambia. Group chairperson Krishna Mankum Agrawal has disclosed that the project will cost $5 million United States dollars, private capital investment. This came to light when Zambia's High Commissioner to India, Judith Kapijimpanga, toured the solar power manufacturing company in the Indian state of Goa. Here's a report.
Agrawal from Goa State in India plans to build a 100 megawatt capacity solar panel manufacturing facility in Zambia. The project would cost $5 million US dollars private capital investment. The exercise might take 6 months if the company completes the registration and legal process, as well as getting satisfaction with the market demand. Zambia's High Commissioner to India, Judith Kapijimpanga, toured the solar manufacturing company in the Indian state of Goa, 2,000 kilometers away from the Indian capital, New Delhi, where she met Group Chairman Krishna Kumar Agrawal.
Your company will be very prolific in that regard, especially that the vision that our president has laid out of creation of employment is what we are thinking of. And Zambia is also, on the other hand, a very peaceful country.
Among all the African countries, Zambia is one of the safest places to work. So that is one of the main reasons which prompted us to start our operations in the Africa region from Zambia.
This would result in jobs creation and skills transfer to the Zambian populace, especially youths, for the company founded in 1950, currently running a 60 megawatt solar panel manufacturing facility in Goa. Bangunavile, Goa State, India.
And Zambia's ambassador to Germany, Anthony Mukwita, has called on Africa Verin, the Association of German Businesses, to attend the inaugural Economic Association of Zambia, EAZ, National Economic Summit, scheduled for July in Livingston. In a letter to African Verin President Stefan Liebing, Mr. Mukwita said the summit will be a perfect event for German businesses to forge links with their Zambian counterparts. He said the summit is significant as it may be noted from the guest list that includes President Edgar Lungu as guest of honor and his Kenyan counterpart, President Uhuru Kenyatta. Others include Tanzania's former president, Jakaya Kikwete, and former South African president, Thabo Mbeki. Mr. Mukwita said he will seize every opportunity to increase German investment into Zambia and encouraged Zambian businesses to engage in the German market. This is according to a statement released to ZNBC News by First Secretary for Press and Public Relations at the Zambian Embassy in Berlin, Germany, Kelis Kaunda. You're watching the main news on TV1. We take our first break and we have more news afterwards. Stay with us. Welcome back. We continue with the news. Minister in the Office of the Vice President, Sylvia Chalikosa, says northern and northwestern provinces have been included on the list of regions earmarked for relief food distribution under the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU. And Ms. Chalikosa says 1,500 metric tons of relief food has so far been distributed in 13 districts of Southern Province. She told ZNBC News in Lusaka that the distribution exercise is being done systematically. Ms. Chalikosa has assured members of parliament making requests for other disasters, such as roofs that have been blown off and food-related, that the response is being done at district level and not constituency level.
In terms of the food relief distribution, we are targeting to do all the districts in Southern Province because we have come to know of how there is a devastating crop failure. And all the districts have been given 100 metric tons based on the District Commissioner's report, which is coming out of the District Disaster Committee. And we have done Southern Province, we are doing Western Province, and then from there we are going to move to Northern, then Northwestern. While we have continued with the food relief distribution that started, we are adding on the extra requests that are coming from the stakeholders because it has been realized that what was initially assessed is inadequate, and therefore we are looking, as I've always said, case by case and then topping up on the food relief.
Meanwhile, about 150 houses in Kitwe's Chachacha Township are on the verge of collapsing due to huge cracks which have been allegedly caused by mine blasting. And Nkana Member of Parliament Alexander Chiteme says he will engage Mopani Copper Mines to find a way of relocating the residents. More in this report.
54-year-old Febina Kawala lives in fear. Her house has huge cracks and it can collapse any time. Blasting the nearby mine is suspected to be behind the damage to her house.
Yalonga chalila futi amanda kusunka na mwafiwa nokwa kwe batu mubutukiri.
Another victim is this old lady. Her house too is under threat.
Kanshitula kwato omwenso. Nangunga tuwafuma po tuwashaba na beka tatuishibo kwe batu tukabasanga.
Those in authority are concerned.
I mean, the cracks are evident, yes. Which means there must be a problem somewhere. Yes. Which we need to make sure that we investigate. And let's see, if it is not safe to live here, yes, people need to be relocated. And I think there was a committee that was put in place to look at this same issue of houses in this area.
We have about 149, 150 houses affected. And according to the information that I have on the ground, people are living in fear. And the only on-spot check, as we have just seen, it's not safe really. You'd wonder if the next day you'll be alive.
According to the residents, both new and old houses are affected and they are spread along 4 different streets. Paul Sharada, ZNBC News in Kitwe.
General Education Minister David Mabumba says government will soon revamp the Zambia Education Publishing House so that education materials can be printed locally. Mr. Mabumba says this is because government wants to do away with the importation of books from abroad. He says once the Zambia Education Publishing House receives a facelift, all key textbooks will be authored by Zambian teachers. Mr. Mabumba disclosed this when he addressed scores of teachers and pupils at Chingola Secondary School. And school head boy Gospel Mambwe appealed to government to buy equipment for the science laboratories to enable pupils conduct practical lessons. Now, Kabushi Member of Parliament Boman Lusambo has warned opposition political party leaders going to his constituency to insult President Edgar Lungu to desist from such acts. Mr. Lusambo has advised the opposition party leaders to focus on their own party manifestos instead of disrespecting the head of state. Mr. Lusambo, who is also Lusaka Province Minister, said this before handing over 60 computers to 7 schools, 3,000 bags of millimil, containers of cooking oil and washing powder worth over 200,000 kwacha. Here's a report.
Kabushi constituency erupted with an euphoria of chants and a massive show of the PF symbol. And the Kabushi lawmaker Boman Lusambo was in an interactive mood as he toured his constituency. Apart from interacting with the residents, he also checked on some of the roadworks going on. Mr. Lusambo later went to Musa Kasonga Stadium where he met residents and the elderly of Kabushi. The Kabushi MP had a warning for the opposition.
Iseni muno mukabushi mwebe abantu icho mwinga bachitila. Notu kwisa muno mukabushi mukutuka bakateka ba Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Kwe napo nishi mlefwa ya tupusane na imwe. Muno mukabushi file chitika fingi na fimbi file isemise watulepanga.
Mr. Lusambo also had a message for the women.
Ama women 8 words to stay in power na ma projects. Na project na bachita propose.
After the meeting, the elderly people did not go empty-handed as the lawmaker, who is also Lusaka Province Minister, had them in mind. The schools in his constituency also benefited.
100 blocks, 1,000 blocks, 100 pockets of cement.
Msenga Mulimba, ZNBC News, Ndola.
Kabwe Central Member of Parliament Tutu Angulube has urged marketeers at Green Market to form clubs so that they access empowerment money from the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Speaking when he addressed scores of marketeers at the market, Mr. Ngulube disclosed that government has released 800,000 kwacha CDF for Kabwe Central constituency. He said part of the funds will be used to empower locals such as marketeers and other vulnerable people. Mr. Ngulube, who is also Deputy Parliamentary Chief Whip, said the empowering of locals is aimed at alleviating poverty at community level. And By Z founder Kazonga Ngoma urged would-be beneficiaries of the CDF to invest the funds in agriculture.
About 800,000 kwacha ku CDF. Tulefa mukaletea application banamayo. Tumipele shirenda lamanga chako kola shikawekera ku Lusaka. Bangeno tuma group 30 mwale mbeshama application inewine ngatwaikala na CDF chairman ni ababe minini hapa tukachita approve tukamipele ili ni capital yenu ingire mu business mwambe chilimba mwambe village banking mwambe na empowerment twemfuata washitata chimo chine kuyambilira bacha bemene babyara mbeo kuja monga soya beans wakashanga soya beans ija soya beans ifunika kuti farmer ujamena achita process kunkala cooking oil agule akagula pa mtengo wa bwino bapange na cooking oil na vambili vamene vipeze kamuli vija vingi ndipo chamene chizachoka pali vijani vakutitika gula
tizapasa nchito mafarmers kuti vafaminge more and more vintu vipakeko pakuchita choncho ndiye kuti wonse tizapezako vochitika tizapeleka vana ku maskulu ngatavutika kuenda ku kliniki taenda bwichomushe vakuvala tizavala bwino bwino.
We take another break and we'll have our agriculture news up next. Stay with us. Welcome back, and now for the rest of the news. The National Arts Council, NAC, has received funding from the European Union, the EU, to help transform the council and enable it to provide support to various arts in the country. National Arts Council Director Manka Chipindi says the EU has also provided technical support to help transform the council to support the art business. Mr. Chipindi further says NAC has started engaging NAPSA so that the artists can also have a pension at the end of their career. Meanwhile, Mr. Chipindi told ZNBC News that with the phasing out of compact discs, CDs, the council is engaging various stakeholders to see how best the musicians can be assisted to still earn from their works.
Received support from the European Union, technical assistance from the European Union, to help us to transform the National Arts Council so that we can be able to provide support to businesses, arts businesses. So as a council also we hope we have an online resource center where artists can go and get information in terms of market information, in terms of resources available, how do they register their company, how do they pay their taxes, how do they pay for NAPSA and many other things. So these are some of the initiatives we are doing. I've mentioned NAPSA. Also NAPSA, we are doing something very big with them. We are extending social security to artists. We want artists, when they retire, they should be able to go to NAPSA and get their benefits.
Construction works at the new Chawama Library in Lusaka have again stalled due to water pipes that have been discovered to be passing right under the construction site. And Chawama Ward 2 Councillor Leonard Sikombe says the works will only resume once the pipes are rerouted. In addition, Mr. Sikombe says at least 300,000 kwacha is also required to reroute ZESCO power lines, which are on the site. Here's a report.
The much-anticipated library in Chawama has again stalled for reasons that are not obvious to the public. Those spoken to have questions about why the contractor has not been seen on site for many months now.
Chifatankala kunaye kuchosa abantu yacho kamponi tifuna manga pola library maina manje kawe masizwa vevishtika bamange kali fast nga bafuna bamange bana baende pasoko akazipunzira kuverenga atia hii tifuna manga pola library manje ni construction ya bwanze mene na manje swamanga.
Chawama Ward 2 Councillor Leonard Sikombe explains that a lot of money will be spent here before works can resume.
Some pipes that we need to reroute. This is a very important infrastructure for Lusaka water. We needed to reroute, but our cooperating partners have delayed. We also need to reroute the power lines for ZESCO, but the program is still on and the contractors are still waiting. These are just a few formalities that we are waiting on.
For now, residents are being urged to be patient as the authorities seek ways to address the technical issues that are affecting progress. Kabembe Mchimba, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
Well, that report wraps up the news at 19 hours. But before we go, here's a reminder of our headlines. The latest Financial Intelligence Center report reveals that some casinos do not hold bank accounts in Zambia. Finance Minister Margaret Mwanakatwe advises the Zambia Revenue Authority to hold regular consultative meetings with clearing agents. About 150 houses in Kitwe's Chachacha Township are on the verge of collapsing. And Zambia has qualified to the semi-finals at the ongoing COSAFA tournament. Well, that's where we end the news for now. I'll be back later for another detailed news bulletin. On behalf of the entire production team, bye for now.